Alright, so we're back. This is going to be part 2 of Let's Talk About Firearms. Here we're going to go into terms. So what are the terms? Well, that's pretty easy. What do they like? What do these people like to shoot around?
Run, Roach.
AR-15s are weapons of war that are not, that shouldn't be, they are military grade weapons that should not be in the hands of civilians. That's the latest rhetoric. Okay. By the way, when they say AR-15, they're talking about any semi-automatic rifle. Okay. That's what they're talking about. Any semi-automatic rifle. In their mind's eye, is a weapon of war, is a military-grade weapon of war that should not be in the hands of civilians. Ooh.
Slow now. Whoa.
Sounds scary, doesn't it? Well, let's go over terms here. Oh, and high-capacity magazines. Oh, that's so bad, high-capacity magazines. These are terms that are thrown around by these anti-2A politicians and other people. I'm not even going to say the names of these groups. They have one goal and one goal in mind, and that is to effectively ban all firearms in America, except, of course, for the government. And for people that are rich enough to be able to afford to hire people with firearms. Everybody else, like you and me, and that want to be able to protect their family, their friends, their neighbors, themselves. You're nothing. You're just little peons. You don't deserve it. Go eat cake. So, stay away from me, bear. I told you to stay away from me, dummy.
Come on now.
I'm sitting here doing a monologue, you stupid bear. So let's go over those terms. First of all, what they term as AR-15s is basically standard semi-automatic rifles. All right. Military grade weapons of war. No, they're not military grade weapons of war. That's complete and utter bullshit. That's a straight up lie. Military grade weapons of war would be like full auto or 3-round bursts. The semi-automatic rifles that fire 223 and 556 rounds are extremely accurate. They're very good for hunting. I don't hunt, but I know people that do, and they're actually a very good weapon for hunting. Because they're a fast round, they have a good knockdown rate. So, and the nice thing about it is those type of firearms, semi-automatic rifles that are based on that, are easy to handle. They have very little recoil. I'm thinking of, there was some reporter that did a story on I'm just going to call it an AR-15 for likes. Did a story on AR-15 and was crying about the recoil and all this other stuff. And somebody took their 5-year-old daughter to the range and had her fire in the AR-15. And they're like, how's the recoil? She's like, oh, it's fine. Boom, 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 boom. And she was putting the targets in the center mass. I have taken people down to the range, and they have fired 9mm, 40, 45 shotguns, and AR-15s. And out of all weapons they've fired, the best they've done with AR-15s. They were more accurate with it, and with no issues. That's because it's a fantastic rifle. Now, the the ones that the military, or the ones that, like, say, the Secret Service use for protecting the president and the politicians and everything else, typically those have selector switchers on it. You can go from semi-automatic fire to either full or 3-round bursts. Depends on what they're using. Alright. Semi-automatic is probably the best. If you've never fired a full automatic weapon, while it is a little fun, it's like you pull the trigger once and it just empties the mag at an extremely fast rate. And if you're not ready for it, the muzzle will actually climb up and you won't be able to keep on target. There's an old saying with full automatic: spray and pray. You're spraying at your target and praying you're going to hit one. Same thing, 3-round bursts. You pull the trigger, it shoots 3 rounds, stops for a hot, not even a second, just it was like 3-round burst, then another 3-round burst, and another 3-round burst. It keeps going until the magazine's empty. On a semi-automatic, you have to pull the trigger each and every time to fire that button. You can pull the trigger pretty darn fast too. That's what the bump stock fiasco was all about. That, bump stocks make semi-automatics full auto. Listen, if I was in a firefight against a mass shooter, I would rather the guy had a full auto than a semi-automatic. Because unless you've really trained, and even then, the first couple rounds are going to be close on target, but after that your muzzle's going to be going up. And most people in the heat of the moment aren't going to be able to hold that down, and it's going to ride up, and you're going to be missing. And the next thing you know, the magazine's going to be empty, and you're going to have to reload real quick. So, and at that point, you got a better chance of shooting the guy, person, because there have been female mass shooters. So the terms, weapons of war, that's bullshit. Military doesn't use that. And actually, if you really want to think about it, military grade weapons of war. No civilian should have that. So what does that mean? If you're just thinking rifles, you'd be wrong. What else does the military use? Standard semi-automatic handguns. They're getting it ready for the next phase to go after handguns. Because your standard 9mm, 40, 45, just 3 basic brands right there. It doesn't matter what the maker model, what the model, who makes it. Those would be considered military grade weapons of war because the military uses them also. So that means they're coming after them next. Again, I've been watching this unfold for over 30 years. I've seen the little tricks that they've done. They cannot outright ban all firearms, but what they can do is take it one step at a time. And that's what they're doing. They're taking it one step at a time. They're doing it one little bit at a time. They're starting by banning certain firearms. They're limiting magazine sizes. Oh, okay, you can't have... We're going to outlaw high-capacity mags. What the heck? They're limiting high-capacity mags. They're banning certain firearms. Okay. They're making it so it's harder to buy firearms by making you jump through even more loops. Okay. Stop. Get him there. All right. You even have them now proposing exercise taxes. And I'm talking like, You had one friggin' Democrat. We should pass a law and tax all firearms 1,000%. um, they're trying to do that with firearms. They want to do that with firearms. They want to do that with ammo. They want to do it with all firearm related. So that way, because they figure if they can't outright stop it, maybe they can tax it out of existence and make the prices so unaffordable, nobody will be able to buy firearms anymore. And these companies will go out of business. And maybe if then they'll start on the ammo, and if they could tax the ammo out, who cares? Eventually everybody will blow through all the ammo, right? So then they won't have any ammo, and they'll effectively disarm America. So that's what they're doing. Now these terms are designed to scare people that don't know any better, that aren't familiar with firearms, and it works. Because if you watch videos and you see any rally or any gun rally or where they're protesting against firearms and other stuff, they all say the same thing. No civilian needs semi-automatic, no civilian needs military grade weapons of war. They're designed to kill. That's all they're designed to do, is to kill. Well, any firearm, they're all designed to kill. Knives are designed to kill. It's not about the tool. And that's all, at the end of the day, all firearms are. They're tools. They are a tool. It's about the person that wields the tool, good or bad. It's how they use it. You can have a person get behind the wheel of a car and use that vehicle as a weapon and mow down and kill over 80 people. Murder, not kill, sorry. Murder over 80 people with that vehicle. You can have a guy take a knife and murder over 20 people with just a knife. The tool, it's just a tool. It's the person behind the tool and their intent. How do you stop crazy? That's going to be my next one. So, they use these terms. And then, of course, the high-capacity magazines. Oh, we can't let people have high-capacity magazines. Anything over 10 rounds is considered a high capacity. That's just the start. I've already heard them trying. They're going to try to limit. I've already heard it. Next step is they're going to try to limit it to 5 rounds per magazine. Eventually, you're going to get down to 3 rounds. Oh, why do you need more than 3 rounds? Or they may go 6 rounds. 5 or 6. I'm thinking 6 because revolvers. I think the next step is they're going to try to limit magazine size for semi-automatics to 6 rounds. And they're going to say, nobody needs more than 6 rounds. Look at the revolvers. Blah, 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 blah. Revolvers typically only carry 6 rounds. There are some that do carry 8. So you watch. That's going to be the next step in their little arsenal. They're going to try to limit mag size. And they're going to try to drop it from like, say, a 10 round, considered more than 10 rounds high capacity. They're going to try to drop it down to a 6 or 8. And I wouldn't be surprised if they try to drop it down. And like I said, they use these buzzwords to scare people. And they fall for it. And then the old AR-15, like I said. They're just simple semi-automatic rifles. Built a different way with a different stock. Hand grips. Maybe they got barrel shrouds and they got flashings that, railings that you could put like flashlights and other stuff. Things that make it easier at times. But, to them, that's evil looking. And they scare people with these sayings. And then they outright just lie and say things. A 9mm round will explode your lungs. Ugh. Ugh. God, the stupidity of that man. Oh, Lord. So, again, term-wise, there's no such thing. Oh, and I'm going to state one more thing. So, these people are claiming that military-grade weapons should not be in the hands of civilians. I'm going to bring the world map up because I want I want no interference whatsoever in this. In America, every single civilian in America, it is our duty to defend America against foreign and domestic enemies. That is what at the core America is. We will stand up and fight against anybody that threatens our republic, that threatens our freedoms. It may take a little while to wake the sleeping bear, but eventually people will wake up. Or they may already be awake, but they want to compromise. Because listen, at the core, America, Americans, we don't care what you do, how you do it, say in the privacy of your own home. Live your life as you see fit. That's America right there. You can do anything you want if you're able if you're smart enough and you're able to put your mind to it. You could do anything you want in America. You could start your own business, become the president of the United States of America if you so choose. All right. That's the wonderful thing about America. You can succeed if you've got the guts, the initiative, and the smarts to do so. The problem arises is you get people that think everybody should be equal. Everybody should be equal. Everybody should make the same amount of money. Everybody should live in the same type of home. You shouldn't be better off than other people. How dare you succeed? And you know what? We're going to take your money because you've been successful and we're going to give it to people that are less successful. Well, you know what? No, not going to happen. You and only you decide. And anybody that tells you differently that you can't succeed, if you really, really want to and you really if you've got the initiative and you've got the smarts, you will succeed. There's no ifs and it's not like people aren't actively holding you back. If you have the smarts and you have the will, you will succeed in what you want to do. May not happen overnight, may take some time, but you will get there. And that is the beauty of America. Of course, one of the biggest problems that we run into, that we've been running into, is government. Government is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and overstepping things and making it harder and harder for people to succeed by enacting regulations, making people jump through loops. and just do insane things. Great example is California. You've got major companies that are leaving California. You've got companies that would love to build major things there, but they can't because of all the stupid regulations that California has done. And I'm not talking about pure safety regulations. All right. I have no problem with safety regulations, ensuring that structural integrity, da da da. I'm talking about stupid things. You know, there were videos on it. Companies that just had enough and just decided to build in other states. Okay, California's a prime example of it. But you got a lot of other states that are doing the same route. There are states where if you're good with, say, cutting people's hairs and you want to be a hairdresser, you know, and you went to school for it, you can't just open up your own business. You got to jump through, spend tons of money simply to open up your own business. It's friggin' ridiculous. You just can't open up your own business. You got to jump through all these loops. Da 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 da. In some cases, it's good, especially like, say, with contractors. I got no problems with that. Do it. But now we go back. Again, I got off trend. I'm sorry. My mind's going a million miles an hour trying to friggin' figure these things out. So anyway, so these terms and these other stuff. So this is the government. Basically, in a nutshell, the government has gotten bigger, more restrictive, and it's starting to get ridiculous. And now they would love to go even more restrictive and be able to dictate to people. Their end goal is they want to disarm America simply because then they can dictate whatever they want without having the fear of America. People going, we don't think so. Pull out the old firearms. Let's go after them. Because at our core, like I said, it's our duty as Americans to stand up and fight for our country. All right. Protect the people here. Now, not everybody believes that. Not everybody that's a firearm owner believes that. All right. But there's enough people out there that do. That take it seriously. That if it comes down to it, that's what needs to get done. And that's America at its core. We take care of business when it's needed. We would rather talk and say, hey, let's handle this peacefully and let's do this. Unfortunately, sometimes you're not able to. But if the politicians had their way, we would have no choice whatsoever. We would lose all our rights. And if we lose 2A, every other right eventually will be lost. And if you think, oh, that's false, they're attacking 1A now. You got politicians purposely saying, hey, people shouldn't have the right to say whatever they want to say. They're attacking 1A. If they're attacking 1A and they're attacking 2A, the two most important rights in our Constitution, what makes you think the rest? There are red flag laws already violate Fifth Amendment. So they already violate. Oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Is it the 5th or is it the 14th? Shit. I have to look at that up. But like I said, you're supposed to be innocent until you're proven guilty. Red flag laws throw that on its head and say you're guilty until you can prove you're innocent. All right. So that's going to be the end of part 2. Now we're going to go into some mass shootings for part 3. Let's put this up.